When we look at toxic corporate cultures or endless doom scrolling, we tend to treat these issues as unintended side effects of modern capitalism. But if you look at the mechanics of these platforms and hierarchies, a different picture emerges. These global digital and corporate architectures are deliberately engineered to require and exploit specific traits associated with narcissistic personality disorder, specifically high grandiosity and a severe lack of empathy. Take social media platforms, designed to operate as digital casinos. Algorithms systematically eliminate natural stopping cues, deploying an infinite scroll that traps vulnerable users in a validation-seeking dopamine loop. Corporate hierarchies run on a similar selection bias. Rather than rewarding objective performance, these structures actively filter for what they call executive polish, a specific blend of extreme confidence and arrogant vision that frequently masks a lack of genuine competence. These massive global systems rely on narcissistic traits for a very specific operational reason. Ruthless leaders who gaslight their subordinates act as the ultimate insulators, maintaining the absolute secrecy required for institutional survival. In material science, high-sulfur impurities make metals brittle. In a corporate hull, unethical conduct and unchecked greed act as those precise structural contaminants. To protect the core enterprise, illicit financial networks engineer a strategy called sacrificing the node. They push high-risk, illegal activities onto distant, unprotected subcontractors located in jurisdictions with conflicting data laws. When enforcement eventually cracks down, the network simply abandons those subcontractors to absorb the liability. This institutionalized callousness creates an operational environment completely devoid of internal trust or authentic communication. Building a system out of paranoid, ruthless components yields an architecture that is highly efficient in the short term. However, exactly like high-sulfur steel, it becomes dangerously brittle the moment it is subjected to external pressure. That pressure is contained using complex compartmentalization. Much like the watertight bulkheads of the RMS Titanic, syndicates rely on 16 specific technical compartments to hide illicit activity and outpace regulatory scrutiny. This diagram maps the identity sector, illustrating how ultimate beneficial owners shield themselves. The core node is obscured behind interconnected shell networks. To evade compliance, they distribute their stakes to exactly 24.9%, allowing scanners to pass over without triggering an alert. Once the identity is hidden, the capital needs to move through the transfer sector, which relies heavily on legacy Swift messaging formats. By exploiting unstructured, free text fields in the older MT103 formats, syndicates effectively mask the true identities of ordering customers. From there, virtual asset service providers, or VASPs, step in to route these obscured funds through cryptocurrency exchanges in jurisdictions that intentionally maintain weak oversight. Meanwhile, the instructions coordinating these moves are hidden in plain sight. The high velocity of proprietary chat archive files is weaponized to conceal tacit agreements between corrupt actors. Maintaining this massive web of compartmentalized secrecy across different jurisdictions forces the syndicate to rely heavily on rigid mathematical automation, and that strict reliance creates a permanent, highly visible footprint for forensic accountants. This chart illustrates Benford's law. In natural datasets, the first digit follows a predictable logarithmic curve, dropping steeply from 1 to 9. When corrupt actors generate fictitious invoices, their engineered ledgers plot in a uniform distribution that violently breaks this expected mathematical boundary. Corrupt executives often lobby for high margin of error audits to keep these anomalies hidden. Forensic accountants counter this by deploying Yamane sampling formulas, forcing a level of statistical precision that guarantees fraudulent transactions are caught. By isolating these mathematical deviations, investigators extract the hidden chat metadata matching the financial anomalies. This transitions the investigation from a numerical error into concrete legal proof of malicious intent, officially breaching the corporate bulkhead. In financial forensics, there is a principle known as the rule of 5 breach physics. Systemic survival becomes mathematically impossible once 5 technical compartments are simultaneously exposed. When the extreme low temperatures of a public, high-impact forensic audit hit a contaminated network, a ductile to brittle transition occurs. fracture lines spiderweb outward in milliseconds. Because these organizations are built on a narcissistic hero culture, the leadership panics under this pressure. Instead of coordinating a defense, executives immediately cannibalize their own networks to save themselves, accelerating collapse. This mathematically guaranteed failure provides the evidentiary basis for asset forfeiture. It secures the specific predicate acts required to initiate the total repatriation of misappropriated funds. Navigating these collapsed systems requires specialized extraction teams, forensic analysts trained to trace the flow of liquidated assets through the network's fractured bulkheads. They use state action protocols like the SEC whistleblower program and RICO statutes to freeze exposed accounts, legally seizing the wealth previously hidden behind impenetrable corporate shields. This flow diagram visualizes the final step, transferring those recovered assets into regenerative finance protocols. Capital is drained from a centralized monolithic vault and redistributed outward into dozens of localized trust structures designed to repair long-term ecological degradation. The structural engineering of narcissism is efficient, but its lifespan is finite. Governed by the strict mathematical laws of forensics, the wealth hoarded by these corrupt architectures is